Hi, this is Lucas with Texas Piano Restoration, and today we're going to go over the top 5 reasons that your piano keys are sticking. Reason number 1, friction. Most of the time when a piano key is sticking, it's because of friction somewhere in the system. Now, when I say system, I mean the piano key, the action, all of the parts inside the piano that let the note repeat, and then the hammer, and ultimately the string. So somewhere in that system, there is too much friction. Now, in a piano, that will most commonly be in the front rail balance pin. So that's at the very front of the key, and right underneath the front of the key, there's a little pin that keeps all the keys in alignment. And if there's too much friction between that key pin and that bushing, then it's going to slow down the key as it returns, and it can often result in sticking keys. Reason number 2 is case parts. So case parts on a piano are basically the furniture of the piano. It's what makes the piano look complete and put together. So on a piano, you generally have what's called a key slip, which is going to sit in front of the keyboard. And then you'll have some sort of what's called a fall board, which is going to sit right behind the keyboard. And usually the fall board, they call it the fall board because it will come down, it will fall down over the keyboard so that when the piano's not in use, it can be covered up. So sometimes, depending on how these case parts are placed on the piano, maybe if they are loose, or maybe if a screw is not the right size, or something's been changed, sometimes these case parts can sit too low, and they can cause the key to bind and therefore stick. Now, often a really common reason that the key might be sticking on your piano is because that key slip can be bowed. And this happens a lot on Steinway grand pianos. That key slip will bow forward, and then the very front of the key, as it comes down, it will rub up against that key slip and cause the key to stick. Reason number 3 is regulation. So regulation is the adjustment of a piano action to compensate for wear over time. Now, that may not make a lot of sense, but this picture here should make things a little more clear. But regulation is a series of adjustments that make a piano perform optimally, or perform at its best. So if the piano action is not well regulated, then the mechanical system that is a piano is not going to be functioning as it should, and this can cause your keys to stick. One thing that can happen often is that what's called the jack, which is inside of the whip-in or the repetition lever, the jack may not be returning, it may not be moving smoothly, or it may be misaligned due to improper regulation. And this can often result in either the action performing poorly, or even causing the keys to not work at all. Reason number 4 is cleaning. So pianos are often not cleaned for a very long time. I often see pianos that haven't been cleaned for maybe 50, 60 years or even longer. And what can happen is, over time, of course, you will get a lot of dust that gets in the piano. But you can also have things that fall into the piano. You know, you can have old pocket change, gum wrappers, little toy cars, pencils, pens, that's a big one. We see lots of pencils. All kinds of little things can fall into the piano, and they can fall in between the keys, and then that can cause the keys to not move freely, and therefore to stick or to get stuck when you try to play your piano. All right, guys. So reason number 5, I was going to try to come up with a list of 5, but I really just had to come back to friction. So I'm going to just repeat number 1 here, just to emphasize that ultimately the vast majority of sticky key issues come down to friction. And the way that that can be solved usually can just be cleaning. Often cleaning a piano will do wonders for how the piano even plays. You can often solve a lot of problems just with cleaning. And then also after cleaning, there's lubrication. So lubricating the parts inside the piano, lubricating the key pins, which are what the keys move on and what align the keys, can often take care of sticking key issues. And if just cleaning and lubricating the piano, if that doesn't work, then there's probably an issue with the action regulation. And you can speak with your piano technician about that. And thanks for sticking to the end of the list. And please let us know down in the comments if you have any questions. We'd be happy to hear from you. All right, take care.